This is Aria Thadakar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of Aria Thadakar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of Aria Thadakar of Orange, California.
The Inner Voice Show is a dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
Inner Voice. A heartfelt chat with Dr. Foojan.
Welcome, everyone. This is the Inner Voice Show, and I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine and have Sean in the studio. This is a show about what matters most in life. Your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions, your relationships, and your fulfillment in this beautiful journey of life. Now, in this show, I'll bring you the latest research about, obviously, the satisfaction of life and how you can get better satisfied in life. And then I'm going to talk to the best-selling author, Tammy Anczok. And after that, we'll actually have a chance to chat with you. If you like, please call the studio line, 951-922-3532. 951-922-3532. Would love to chat with you at the end of this show. So call us about 3:30, 3:40, and then we can chat. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new way is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at Foojan.com or Amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
If you want to give a little boost to your life satisfaction a year from now, you may want to try socially focused strategies over strategies that involve non-social pursuits. According to the latest research published in Psychological Science, a journal of Association of Psychological Science, on May 2018. Now, Dr. Julia Rohr of the University of Leipzig states, our research showed that people who came up with well-being strategies that involved other people were more satisfied with their lives 1 year later, even after taking into account that they were marginally happier to begin with. In contrast, people who came up with strategies that did not explicitly involve others remained on average as satisfied as they were. Of the 1,178 participants in the study, 596 made a general statement like, there's not much I could change, or expressed an idea that did not entail individual actions, such as like different politics would improve life, like a general statement. Whereas 582 reported a specific strategy. Now, these two groups showed no substantive differences in life satisfactions over time. Dr. Rohr and colleagues further examined that data from the 582 participants who actually described specific strategies of these 184 mentioned approaches centered on some form of social engagement, helping others spend more time with family, spend more time with friends. While 398 described some form of non-social strategy, like stop smoking or some personal goal, analysis revealed that individuals who described a social strategy showed increased life satisfaction 1 year later, whereas those who reported non-social strategies showed relatively constant levels, data reflecting how much participants spend on various activities indicated that time spent socializing with family, friends, and neighbors helped to explain the boost in life satisfaction 1 year later. The results do suggest that spending more time with others may be the more promising avenue toward increased well-being. And the researchers concluded, many people are interested in becoming happier, but there's a lack of evidence regarding the long-term effects of pursuing happiness through various types of activities. And after all, there's no guarantee that trying to become happier does not really make you more miserable. But at least this research tells you that if you strategize with people being around you, that life becomes more happier. Now, I know we're talking about life satisfaction and we're talking about how to become happier, but I got to share something with you. And it's a bit sad and happy all at the same time. And I might choke, kind of trying, having a lot of emotions. Yesterday, I went to a funeral of someone who, a lady who was 52 years old and was actually diagnosed with cancer. And in 1 year, she left us. I had only seen this woman for about a couple of times, maybe in my whole life. And her name is Shiva Agahi, and wherever she is, I hope that she's really free of all of it. The point was that when I walked into that space, the space was filled with love. It was one of the most authentic spaces of funeral and passing and memory that I've ever been to. And part of it was that when they talked about Shiva, everyone was filled with love, with the way that she had spent her time with them throughout her life, and especially even the last year of her life. Every single person, from a boy who was about 12 years old who had actually lost her own father last year, all the way to her uncles and who were, close to 80. Every person who walked in said, she made a difference in my life in this way. And you could feel it. It was so authentic. You could get the love that was there. And I was just sitting there feeling and looking at, wow, if we all have this opportunity to be together and the way that you could get yourself to feel so fulfilled and satisfied. And after you're gone, look at the space you create for everyone who you came in touch with, and open your heart and really, really give out of your heart. Look what you create. And I just wanted to share her with you, and hopefully that we can create this for ourselves and everyone around us. So don't go anywhere, because we're coming back with Tammy Anczok, and she's going to also tell us how to fill up our tank. Don't go anywhere.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of Aria Thadakar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of Aria Thadakar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of Aria Thadakar of Orange, California. Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Everything must change. Nothing stays the same.
That is such a beautiful song. Oh. Well, welcome everyone. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, and I'm excited to have Tammy Anczok. She's an author, speaker, international speaker, and trainer, and a transitional life coach. Now, her contribution to the book Women Who Influence, which came out on March of 2018, is found in Chapter 1 and is empowering, invigorating, and simply an authentic share that touches just below the surface and leaves you wanting more. In her upcoming book, Can You Fill My Tank? If my life is so full, why do I feel empty? And she dives deeper into the identity and connection, making good use of her business degree and her life experience as a wife and a mother. Tammy hosts Fill Your Tank retreats in both New York and Florida, and to inspire women to discover their true identities and their passion. A perpetual student of life, Tammy always seeks to learn, to constantly evolve into a more powerful version of herself, and to help others to do the same. She holds an associate degree in business management and is a graduate of Tony Robbins Mastery University. I love him. And Dale Carnegie's management training. She's a Canfield certified trainer. I love everywhere she's gone to train. And a crisis pregnancy coach help. Well, I'm not pregnant, that I do. And young single mother embrace motherhood. Hi, Tammy.
Hi, Dr. Foojan. Thank you for having me.
Of course, so nice to have you.
Thank you.
So we got 2 books to talk about. So let's go over the first one first, which was the one you already had, the chapter.
Yes.
Let's talk about that one first. And then we're going to get to what you're working on right now, which is coming out later this year, right?
Probably early next year, actually. So,
okay.
Yes, thank you.
Wonderful. So you work with people around their passion and how to create this fulfillment in life. So tell us, what do you look for?
Well, I started a journey myself when my children left for college. I have 4 children, and my youngest are twin daughters. And when they left for school, I was so excited for them, and I was so busy with the transition of, helping them get settled in their schools. They went to 2 different colleges in 2 different states. They did not want to be twins. They didn't want to be known as twins anymore. Of course, they're always twins, right? But they wanted their own identity. And when they left the house, I did not realize that part of my identity went right out the door with them.
Yes.
And I was met with something I did not expect. I knew they were leaving. I was excited for them, but I had no idea that my identity was so wrapped up in being their mom. And, it started me on a journey of self-discovery. And, my empty home became a metaphor for my empty soul. Mm. And what I was experiencing in my home, I was experiencing inside my heart. And I missed them terribly. And I really didn't know how to get back to myself without being their mother.
That's very true. I've seen that so much in my, when I have my clients who I've been a therapist for about 27 years, I work with a lot of women, Tammy, and you are so not alone and go through this experience where people go through their career set and then they want to have family. Sometimes there's an exchange which they got to let go of their career to become a mother, and they don't know who they are, and they have to create their identity about who they are as a mother. And it takes a while. And then they go through this motherhood, then they create their identity as a mother. And sometimes both side by side. And you are so accurate with that. When their children leave, we have no idea who we are. That part of us that just got trained for 20 years of being on top of things and nurturing and being responsible for another human being and teaching them and all of that suddenly is taken away, and we're left with this space.
Yes, that's exactly what happened to me. And I was a stay-at-home mom. I had a career before I had my children. I had 3 children under the age of 2, and when that happened, it was best for me to stay home. So I had three little ones. So I was in and out of the office throughout, them going through middle school, high school, and when I wasn't needed as much, of course, I was also working. But just that arrival of, gee, I guess they're good. I guess they're on their own. Mission accomplished. Now what? And
I'm a success, but now what?
Yeah, exactly. Well, I reached this goal of, raising successful kids, which is always the goal, right? We want them to be independent. And then when they were, I just felt, really lost. And so my contribution to this series for women, the title of the book is Women Who Influence. And my chapter title is Who Do You Think You Are? And it was really a struggle for me to figure out who I was, and who I thought I was wasn't necessarily who I was. So it was like, that's my story in the book. And it was a way that I found my way back to myself. And so now I'm helping other women transition into motherhood. That's why I'm a crisis pregnancy coach. I was also pregnant at the age of 18. And I became a mother at the age of 18,
Really?
almost 19. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been a mother longer than I haven't been a mother. Mm-hmm. And I've always had that aspect of responsibility.
But also, right at the age that we are creating our identity is exactly when you became a mother. So your identity got formed just being a mother, because obviously from childhood as we're growing up, those age from 18 to 25, 28, and closer to 30 are exactly our independent time that we're finding ourselves out there. And yes, that's who you became. You became a mother.
Yes, that's exactly right. And so at the end of that era, the 30 years of motherhood, I was really struggling. And so I found my way back to myself by writing a letter to God, actually. And I published it in the chapter. But I asked God, dear God, please show me who I am. I don't know who I am without my kids. And God actually started to answer these questions. And it took a couple of years, actually, to get the answers that made sense to me. And so I had to get quiet, and I had to really look. I had to really do some soul searching to find my way back to myself. And my way to find my way back was to look at how God created me in the first place. And, I think our passions are really tied into what our life's purpose is. And I love children. So of course I'm passionate about children and family, and that's great. But I know I had a greater purpose when that segment of my life was kind of coming to an end, kind of concluding. And so
who are you, Tammy?
So I am, wow, you got me there.
God answers you. You experienced
God
it.
Answered
you
me,
know
yeah.
it. Who are you?
I am evolving. I'm a child of God. I am forgiven for my mistakes. I'm a success. I'm a loving wife, a loving mother. I'm still all those things. And now I'm an author. I'm a transitional life coach. I'm sharing my struggles in the effort to help other people, men and women of all ages. And my greatest passion, Dr. Foojan, is connection. And I know you were talking about the study that was done and that beautiful, beautiful funeral that you were at for Shiva, and how those people connected in her life as well as in her death. It's just so powerful. And I love that story, but I know that that's why we're all here. We're here to connect to each other when we're not here forever. I believe that there's life after this life. I believe our souls don't die, that we remain connected. And I have some dear friends that have passed that I still feel connected to them. Some more so now than when they were alive. I don't know how that's possible, but it's like they're with me more now than ever. So, that's my goal, is just to connect on many levels as I can with as many people as I can to, help us all walk through this life together. We can't do it alone. Right. I love the study. The study basically said people were happier a year later when they were, more involved in community. They had others around them to lift them up, whatever that is. If it's a weight loss program or smoking or a substance, a lifestyle change of any kind, you need people.
Yeah. And I remember going to a lot of classes. I've taken a lot of Tony Robbins, besides, my 27 years of going through all of the psychological studies and being in the field of therapy. Side by side, I've taken many of the coaching and self-progress seminars. Tony Robbins, definitely many of his seminars, and Landmark and all of that. And I remember one of the conversations that were out there was when you stop with yourself, and you got this kind of a mastery that you think, okay, I'm going to create a goal, and I've find all the ways to let go of the obstacles and kind of get to the goal. Then there's this part that shows up, which again becomes empty. Like people kind of lose their purpose. It's as if I figured out the name of the game. And sometimes life will bring you bigger games where you don't know, so you have to handle it because it's just the next level of growth for you. But if life hasn't brought that for you, in many of these seminars, what I learned was create a goal bigger than you. Create a goal that's even bigger than your life. Like if you took on, alleviating hunger or violence or something that is much bigger than you, and it extends you to a bigger cause, then that has also shown that people find some kind of purpose that it just won't be enough until you die, because it is so big that you will be a part of, a step, a hand in the progression. And that is so big that you can't do it all alone. And then when you do it with everybody else, that concept, like you said, of be feeling empty and lonely no longer exists, because you're not lonely. You are with other people who are moving forward in creating something bigger. And I know that based on your experience, you have added these values, and then as you're sharing it with the rest of us in your new and upcoming book, Can You Fill My Tank? If my life is so full, why do I feel empty? So talk about what you're going to be sharing with us.
Yes, thank you. Well, my husband actually is in the oil distribution industry. And so oddly enough, he fills tanks for a living. He fills oil tanks for a living. And when I was working on this book, I needed to title the book. I was working on several different titles. And that was a title that came up, was the title I ended up choosing. And I remember asking him, I'm like, well, do any of these titles sound good to you? And he said, oh, I really like Can You Fill My Tank? I fill tanks for a living. And I said, oh my gosh, I never made the connection, but that's so true. So I thought, well, how can I write this story about my life without including this business that has been the focal point of my family ever since we've been married. So I loved the connection, and I felt like this was the right title. So Can You Fill My Tank is a book about it's a book about business. It touches about building a business and setting goals, like you said. These goals that we reach, we sometimes reach a goal, and like we get to that accomplishment, and we don't feel the sense of fulfillment or satisfaction that we thought we'd feel. And then there's a little bit of a letdown because you thought, gee, I thought if I got that promotion, that was going to solve it for me. That was going to be it. And it's great, but these are things that don't really sustain. And so the premise of having a full tank, it really starts with fulfillment. It really starts with not being always going after the next thing, but being content exactly where you are when you're there. And I think my struggle was that of a discontent. I was not content. I wasn't content in New York. I wasn't content in Florida. I just had this discontent. It was within myself. And there was not anybody that was going to fill that for me. There was not any new handbag that was going to fill that for me, or new great pair of shoes, or, you kind of get where I'm going. It was not surface stuff. It was internal. And so our greatest joy comes really from our greatest contentment. And I know when I was a young mother, I didn't have a lot financially, but I knew I was doing the right thing, and I was very content with my decision to have my child. And I had experienced great joy being a mother, even being a single mother. So that is kind of filters into the book. So some of my chapters are oil industry related. So I have a chapter on running on empty, when our tank is kind of running low, but we're still giving from that resource of we're still giving. We still have people pulling from us that need us, that depend on us, whether we're full or not. We're still giving. We're still at a capacity to give. So I have a chapter on that. I have a chapter on siphons, the things that pull from us, things that drain us. Chapter on underground tanks, the things that we keep hidden that people can't see when they see us. They can't see on the surface of us really what's going on. And so I kind of touch upon the things that we keep hidden from other people, where, our vulnerability, our insecurities, our things we don't want to show. And, that is, the book is really about being full. It's not about being empty. Right. But I couldn't go there without identifying the emptiness that I've walked through.
Yes.
Even during success, I've had emptiness. So it hits us at all different stages of life, I think. And,
yeah. I remember, as you're talking, I remember when probably I was at about age 16. I came to U.S. around age 12 alone, and was going through a lot of, obviously going to school. And part of my dream was that I said, until the age 30, I want to be married. I want to have my house. I want to have my business. I want to have all of it. So I did. At age 28, I got my business. I had this biggest flower business of, the whole Rodeo Drive of Beverly Hills and Beverly Hilton and, all of the boutiques. And then I had this beautiful house that I bought and decorated. I was married. And then exactly what you said, I've reached every single thing that I ever said I want to. 2 years earlier that I actually said I want to, and I was empty. I was not happy. I was so unfulfilled. It was more like, okay, I said I'll get there, and I got here. But like you said, who am I? Who's gotten here? This is not a satisfaction. And it's interesting that through these classes of, self-progress courses, I came to connect with me. And the connection with me got me to the space of connection with others, because I had lost because I had to immigrate in such a young age, and a lot of the childhood issues, I had disconnected from me, from my body, and from everyone else. Although I had a lot of people around me, but it wasn't my connection to them. It was just this type of a relatedness that was supposed to be like a social concept, but no connection. And so when I got connected to myself, and then I saw that I wanted to connect to others, which I went right back into the field of therapy, and then I became a therapist. And as you were talking, I got this experience too, that the utmost level of beauty is this presence which you are connected to, either yourself, to the world, to the nature, to another human being. And that moment exists, and it's full. It's completely full. And anytime that I'm not connected, then the gauge comes down. And then the next moment, which I'm fully connected, the gauge goes up and it becomes all full. What is your experience on that?
That's exactly so true. My experience with that, when I was experiencing the emptiness, I was spiritually empty. And so even though I was, going to church, being around all my friends in church, being around family, I wasn't fully connected. I was exactly like you said, I was disconnected on many levels. And so for me, the greatest connection is to, Dr. Wayne Dyer used to say, always stay as close to your source as possible. And he had this white ball on stage with him, and he would touch it and say, this is your source. Like, you don't want to wander too far away from your source. You want to stay connected to that, because that's where life is. That's where life happens. And so I started thinking about that. Oh my goodness, I am completely disconnected from my source. I'm disconnected from myself. I don't know who I am because I lost my connection to source, which is my connection to God. And God answered that question. He didn't tell me, now you're going to make me cry a little bit. He didn't tell me who I was. He told me who he was.
Wow.
And so there's these 7 statements in the Bible, these I am statements in the Bible that are spoken through Jesus. And those I am statements, they define our source, our God. And when we're connected to that, there's no question who we are. We don't have to worry about who we are. We don't have to worry, are we good enough? Did we do enough? Do we have enough? Because we are enough, period. That's it. And so that is the way that I was able to reconnect to myself. And so, I also have a chapter about, staying connected. This is a funny thing, Dr. Foojan. If you do not ground your tank in the oil industry, if you're filling a tank that's not electronically grounded, it can actually explode.
Wow.
That is like a real thing that happens. They have to with a wire connect to ground the tank. And I thought, wow, have I exploded when I wasn't connected to my source? And I just thought that is just such a funny metaphor. It just fits so well. So that is one of the ways that I stay. I can tell if I'm running a little low, if I'm feeling low, if I'm feeling tired, if I'm feeling some sense of lack at all. I know that I'm disconnected to source. And
how do you ground yourself? Like sometimes it's hard for me to meditate. So I'm taking on going with Sister Jenna, the Brahma Kumaris, which is one of the only group that I really, when I experienced this type of connection and this type of meditation, where it really brings me deep, really quickly to myself, and try that. But more than anything is more like going in and trying to meditate, going into my body and going and tapping into a lot of first gratitude about life and who I am. And even I created this tape, CD. You know how old I am when I say tape, CD. We're even old when we say CD now. about, going through kind of like meditating to each part of the body and thanking that part of body and being grateful and listening to it and seeing what it needs. And then, thanking everyone who's around me, who's just been an amazing source of who I am and where I am today. That's how I ground myself. How do you ground yourself?
I ground myself in a similar way too with meditation. I know that it's kind of been said that when we're praying, we're talking to God, and when we're meditating, we're listening to God. And so I do both. I also ground myself through working out. Like, I love to run, so I'll go for a run and listen to music or great book on tape, or I ground in that way. I am best when I'm really connected to my family. So I know that if I haven't talked to my son in a few days, I need to call him. I always need to have my feelers out. And but to connect to myself, I would say I really try to follow my intuition. So sometimes I don't feel like meditating, so I may go for, and I may not want to run, so I may go for a walk in nature and I live on the river, on the Niagara River above Niagara Falls. So there's a lot of nature and beauty around me. So I'll just take a walk, and with a silent walk, and clear my head and just listen and look. And I ground myself that way too. So if I have time, I love to do that. And I love to follow whatever it is my body is like telling me that's missing. Yes. So sometimes I'll dance, or I'll be working out, and then I'll feel like suddenly I hear a song, I want to dance a little bit, and I'll just kind of let loose and, just kind of follow whatever it is that I am directed to do. And
exactly.
That really does seem to help.
Everyone, you're listening to Inner Voice Show, and we're talking to Tammy Anczok. And call us at 951-922-3532. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back with a lot of great conversations.
Could you be the dream that I once knew? Is it you? Deja vu. Could you be the dream that might come true? Shining through.
Were you recently injured in a car accident? Then you need the law offices of REF Datacar for your free case evaluation. Don't let the medical bills pile up, and don't let the insurance companies try to settle your claim for a few $100s. Call 714-464-3246. The law offices of REF Datacar serves all of California. If they don't win, you don't pay. So call now, 714-464-3246. This is a paid-for attorney advertisement by the law offices of REF Datacar of Orange, California. Dr. Foojan Zeine is a psychotherapist, a marriage and family therapist, and a life coach with more than 27 years of experience. She is the author of the Awareness Integration Model, which has been researched and published in numerous international journals. Dr. Foojan has offices in Beverly Hills, Irvine, and Woodland Hills, California, and also consults online and by telephone. Make an appointment with her today by calling 818-648-2140 or go online to www.foojan.com. That's www.foojan.com.
Join the conversation every Monday afternoon at 3 p.m. Pacific for Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan. Dr. Foojan has a direct approach to getting you to free your mind. Inner Voice is a live call-in show where you can chat about your life and all that matters to you in your relationships. Inner Voice, Heartfelt Chat with Dr. Foojan, Monday afternoons at 3 p.m. Pacific on Smart Talk, KMET 1490 AM, and on the Internet stream.
Have you ever wished you could just wake up one day, reach across your nightstand, and hit the life reset button? Let's face it, the struggles and frustrations of everyday life leave millions of women and men around the globe yearning for a new way. And the new May is right here in Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want by Dr. Foojan Zeine. You can get it now at foojan.com or amazon.com. Life Reset, the awareness integration path to create the life you want. You deserve it.
Welcome to the Inner Voice Show again. I'm Dr. Foojan Zeine, and we're talking to Tammy Anczok. She's a bestseller author, and she's a transitional life coach and the speaker. Now, if you'd like to call us at 951-922-3532 and tell us your stories about how to become fulfilled in life and how you ground yourself. Tammy, you also have retreats in New York and Florida that you inspire women to discover their true identities and passion. So tell us what you do in the retreats.
Well, we usually get together for a weekend, and we have like a meet and greet on Friday night where everybody kind of gets together, and we have a little wine and cheese party, and we meet one another. Yeah. And usually everyone stays at a close by hotel, and then Saturday morning we meet for breakfast, and we do some meditation. Sometimes we do yoga, and it's really all about taking a break and filling ourselves up, which a lot of women and men don't really do. The retreats are mainly attended by women. But especially, I think, moms, we are giving from this never-ending surplus. The job is a 24/7 job, right? So it's hard for moms to replenish when they're on call, morning, noon, and night. So we do some meditation, we do some yoga. Sometimes we'll do some work on passions, and there's a passion test that we do to figure out, like, 'cause some people don't really know what their true passions are, and there's this little silly test that kind of can reveal to you what it kind of narrows it down, and then people are like, oh my gosh, I love this, I didn't even know this was a thing, so we do that, and then we do some grounding work for those things, and we usually go out for dinner on Saturday night, and it's just a really nice experience. We have a chef that prepares lunch for us, and so we just work, and we have both my homes are located on the water, so we have a lot of like spaces where we can go off and journal and just have some time alone to think and process, the things that we're working on. And, I've learned a lot from Tony Robbins over the years, and I just love his methodology, and I still go back to it. It's so powerful, and, about changing your state and just really making a decision to just show up and not be a victim of our circumstances, kind of thing. He's big on that. So,
yes. What is your passion?
My greatest passion is connection. When I'm connected to my loved ones, my friends, to a perfect stranger, I am completely engaged in that. I just love it. I was visiting my mother-in-law in the nursing home this past weekend, and she's had another stroke, and so she can't feed herself. And so I was helping her eat lunch. My husband and I were both there, and I was feeding her lunch. And the lady next to me said to one of the aides, hey, I want someone to feed me like a baby. And they kind of said, oh, Mary, come on now, Mary, you can feed yourself. And she said, poor Mary had a bad fall, and she was badly bruised. And she had a headache, and she wasn't really feeling up to eating. But I could tell she wasn't saying, feed me like a baby. She was saying, love me.
Yeah, be with me.
Yeah, be with me. And there was no one there. So I said, I'll feed Mary. And so my husband was helping his mom, and I scoot over, and I had helped Mary eat her lunch. And she just melted. She just changed completely. And it was just that interaction, and I was so connected to her. I'm still thinking about her today. This was a couple days ago. And we just shared that time together. So that's it. That's what I'm passionate about people.
Mhm. Yeah, I'm passionate about making a difference in
Yeah.
people's life. And then when you see that somehow you added some value to their life, and
Yeah.
I could see where they utilize whatever that is, whether it's a
Yes.
look, whether it's a hi, whether it's a hug, whether it's a conversation, whether it's a session that I have with them as a therapist or a coach, or
Yes.
whether they listen to the radio shows or they're in the social media and, I'm sending a quote of the week or something. And then they call back where, oh, okay, that ignited something in me. So any venue, any type of way that for anyone that is comfortable to just reach out, connect, and make a difference in a positive way. I mean,
Yes.
whether we want it or not, we are making a difference. Because even if we don't do anything and we don't show up and we're not with people, there's a lack that we're creating for them, especially the ones that are around us. So
Yes.
the idea of if I'm kind of going into my own cocoon and don't do anything, therefore there is no interaction. Unfortunately, there is. Like whether you are or you choose not to be, you're still influencing, you're still interacting, you're still doing something and creating a difference in people's life. Sometimes negative, sometimes positive, and sometimes unawareingly. So I would really, really suggest for us to be aware of the type of influence that we are creating for others, and um, to do that consciously versus completely unconscious. And
Right.
therefore, we can take some responsibility in how we want to do that. And it is awesome to see and hear that you are, after finding who you are first as a woman, and then next as a mother, and then coming to terms with giving of your experience and connecting to the external world in a bigger picture, so you can influence, not only your own family and your own children, but now an extended hand of extending that influence and making a difference to the bigger audience and people and lives
Yes. Yes. Exactly.
through your books, through the chapter in books, through the retreats, through coming on to radio shows and podcasts and doing all of this is sharing yourself, sharing the beauty that you grounded yourself and learned and connected with yourself and your spirituality and how to extend that. And that's a wish for me to have, for everyone to be able to do that, to know the jewel that everyone is and how much they can give of themselves and that jewel to everyone else.
Yes, yes, exactly. It's so important what we bring and what we put out to the universe, to everybody in our world, our immediate world, and then everybody extended, out from there. It is so important, and we do have to be intentional with exactly what you just said.
Mm-hmm.
What we bring every day, and it's worth the extra time. It's worth the search. If you're not sure, it's definitely time to take a step back and figure it out.
Tammy, where can people find you?
I have a website. It's my name, tammyanczok.com. And Anczok is spelled, it's TammyAnczok. And all the information about my retreats are on my website, and the writing as well. Also, my coaching packages are available there too. But I would just love to connect. You can send me an email and we can connect through there. I do a free discovery call for my coaching clients, so we can kind of get to know one another and see if we would like to work together. That would be a fantastic way to connect. I would love that.
So you also do coaching over the phone and online,
Yes.
and then you also do the retreat. So these are completely different ways that people
Yes.
can work with you and be with you, right?
Yes, exactly. Yes.
Okay, so can you say a bit about the coaching concepts that you do and how you do that?
Well, the transitional life coaching is basically, we generally, if there's something specific that's happening in your life, it's generally about transitioning. So, it could, whatever that is for you. If you just want to get to a different place than you're at right now, that's a transition. And it's like, how do I get there? How do I get there? So we basically look at a life wheel of all the different things that you have in your life, and we kind of rate them. And then we look at the areas that are low and, ways that we can boost those up. And we do, I incorporate meditation and affirmations and things like that to kind of like set the pace for something different. Because if we don't do something different, we'll stay right exactly where we are, right? So that's kind of the premise for what I've been doing.
Beautiful. So everyone, please go to Tammy Anczok, ANCZOK, .com, and connect with Tammy. She loves to connect with you, and then from there on, hey, you never know, you might find your passion and fulfillment in life and go to one of her retreats and get her book that's already out there, which is Women Who Influence, and she's on the first chapter, so you can get that from her website or Amazon.com, and look for her second one that is coming out, which was going to be called Can You Fill My Tank? And if my life is so full, why do I feel empty? Tammy, it's been a joy to have you on the show, and just keep in touch and let us know when your new book is coming up, and then we can chit chat again.
Oh, I would love that. Excellent. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me today, Dr. Foojan.
Of course.
Loved it.
Of course. Great talking to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So, all right. So, guess what? I've really, really, really gotten into the space of loving online therapy. So this is what I want to experience with all of you. So online coaching for people who are outside California, because my license is in California. So if you are in California, I'd be more than happy to do psychotherapy or coaching, whichever that is best for you. And then if you are outside of state of California, and even outside the United States. I have clients from Australia, from Japan, from United Kingdom, London, and different parts of the world. So I'm available to be able to do that. Go to my website, Foojan.com, Foojan.com, and connect through the website with me. And I love to be able to speak with you and do the coaching. I have creating some packages for people that they want to do like 6-week coaching for them. I'm really enjoying meeting a lot of people from everywhere around the world, and this type of a cross-cultural and multicultural experiences of people who have different experiences and come from a different background. And I think it's a joy. I learn a lot, and I hope that I can be of support and help for you. So call me and go to my website, Foojan.com, and I'll see you next week. And until next week, create an amazing world and life for yourself and everyone around you. Bye-bye.
The Inner Voice Show is a dialogue between the host and the listeners about their relationships. This show is not an attempt to assess, diagnose, or treat any mental health or illness condition. Please consult your physician, psychiatrist, or psychotherapist for personal matters.
Check us out online at KMET1490am.com.
Listen to Constitution Radio with Douglas V. Gibbs, your weekend dose of truth on KMET AM 1490 Saturdays at 1 in the afternoon.
1490 AM Smart Talk Radio, KMET.